That's it. So I will sign all of these then, yeah?
Okay, I called it to order. If you please call.
Okay.
Arnold,
Here.
Beckwith,
Here.
Flores, absent, Harkapisi,
Here.
Kotsinis,
Here.
Hamilton,
Here.
and Sutton.
Here.
Here's Celeste.
And here's Celeste.
Wait,
Oh,
go back to the beginning.
Flores, we have a
Oh,
quorum.
yay.
You just made it.
Pledge.
All right.
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Warren Newport Public Library District provides the community with access to information, kindles the imagination of children and adults, and supports lifelong learning. Okay. Join us. We're going to do our committee first.
Okay.
Introductions, please.
You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Michael Barr, resident community, and I think I've revised my answer since I talked to Ryan. He's trying to figure out if I'm retired, so am I. So, shortly after told him I think I am, a client called and asked me some questions, so I don't know.
I retired in 2008, and I finally retired last year. So I get it. Also, Mike's, I don't know if everyone knows this, but he has been very interested in the board and the library and attended meetings for some time. I don't know if everybody was a trustee then, but anyway.
Your hair's longer. Since the last time I saw you.
Pleased to have him on the committee, so welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, we just have a few kind of organizational things to accomplish tonight, so I'm gonna let you go for it.
Yeah, so I think the biggest things to accomplish tonight would be to talk about how long we see this process going, deadlines for next steps, when we want to meet in the future, how many meetings do we want to have, and then it says committee member assignments. I honestly think, though, if you look at the sample report on page 13, a lot of the initial information we need to gather, I don't see it something that, honestly, I think it's best for staff to gather this information. I think this is going to be easiest for staff as opposed to ask our citizen members or board members to do it. I mean, if anyone feels otherwise, they really want to jump in, that's fine. But that's kind of my thinking looking at this. You can always, as it says on page 12, if you wanted to, hire somebody to gather, analyze information, you could, but this is an unfunded mandate. I think we've talked about how this process, why I think maybe the intent was good initially in terms of what can be accomplished through this process. I don't know that we're going to see any change on a larger level, but I think it's a good process to take seriously and go through, and maybe we will identify some inefficiencies that we can improve upon ourselves. But basically, my thinking is for staff to kind of tackle the sample report, these questions, and then the next time we meet, we can come back and kind of take a look at that and see where the gaps are and go from there. Unless there are other thoughts. And then, do we want to try to do this in 3 meetings? Do we want to just kind of see how it goes after a few meetings? Do we have, I think, 18 months to do this, so do we want to, I don't want to drag this out for 18 months. Maybe we can get this done, next 4 months or something, so I don't know. So there's my thought, there's Ed, so, hey Ed, welcome. Come to the table. We've already gotten going. I was just talking about the approach to this, my thinking was, I think in terms of the initial gather information, it probably is going to have to be a staff function as opposed to this group, and then when we do that, we can come back and collaborate more,
So I'm Joe Beckwith, I'm the president for just a few more minutes, and then we're going to switch around and it's going to be George. So if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, and I think we should go around and introduce ourselves to you.
Ed Gallagher, I'm a resident of Gurnee. I currently serve as the community relations representative for Pace Suburban Bus in my professional life. Been involved in a lot of different public service aspects here in Lake County. Started as at America Vista in Washington, so been really focused on public service.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Andrew, you want to go next?
Oh, me? My name is Andrea Farkapisi. I've been on the board since 2011. I'm currently treasurer and expect that I will be again very shortly.
There's such things.
I'm
Yes?
a professional accountant in my real life.
Hi, I'm Wendy Hamilton. I've been on the board since 2021, and I'm retired from AbbVie. And I'm a librarian by training.
Catherine Arnold, I think I've been on the board since 2019, I think. And I serve as the policy chair, and I'm employed with Abbott right now, background in engineering, and my mom is a librarian.
My name is Gina Ornelas. I'm the executive administrative assistant, and right now I'm acting as a recording secretary.
I'm Jo Beckwith, and I'm the president. I've been on the board since 2011. I've been president since 2015, and I also was a librarian at the College of Lake County, and I just retired a year ago. I live in Wadsworth.
So Ryan Livergood, Executive Director of the Warrnambool Public Library. I know both of you.
George Katsenis, Vice President of the board right now and possibly President later.
Possibly.
I've been on the board since 2014, I think. Sounds about right. I work for Adobe.
I'm Bonnie Sutton. I've been on the board for 6 years. Currently the secretary, taking a step back and giving that on to the next person. A retired teacher of 45 years in special education.
Melissa Flores, I've been on the board since 2022. Yeah, we know each other.
And I'm Mike Barr, marketing strategy is my professionally trained as an economist, and always enjoyed libraries. Attended the University of Illinois because it had the third largest library in the U.S. at the time.
Oh, who went to library school at Illinois?
Anyone who wants it.
I was close to there, but in the economics department. And part of this committee was fun, but it's like, I've been dropping into board meetings for, I don't know, a year or two now.
Yeah.
Number one fan.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay, so what decisions do we need to make then? A time frame, don't you think?
Yeah.
It would be good if we could get, right now, decide all our future meetings.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least the
Helpful
first
for
one.
these guys, yeah.
I mean, I think if we're gonna decide on the first meeting, if staff, I mean, how much time does staff need to do this? I mean, you can't just turn it around.
Well, I'd like to, I think June is gonna be a busy month with finishing the strategic plan, wrapping up the budget,
Yeah.
so, probably meet again in like July or August.
That's what I'm thinking. Is that okay with everybody? Do you two have specific, we would probably like to do it like this, because the whole board has to be here. So we'd probably like it either to be before a meeting, or before a regular meeting, or before committee of the whole.
Which are on the first and third Tuesdays of the month.
Right.
Yeah, and I can make any of those work, so.
Does that work for you too? Okay,
Great.
so, let's see, that would be August,
Or September,
Or July or August.
July or August.
okay. Let's see, so if we wanted to do July regular meeting is
July 18th.
the 18th.
18th, yeah.
Is that enough time?
I think it should be. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gonna,
If I were to guess, with very little knowledge, seems to me an awful lot of this is straightforward. Somebody's still gonna
Yes.
have the time and power
Correct.
through it.
yeah.
And then there are 2 or 3 sections, sort of the core capabilities and programs, where somebody's gonna have to, what are the metrics you're using in the strat plan or elsewhere? Organize those. So, yeah.
And also, there was that long list of,
Yeah, all of
in section 8,
The laws, policies.
that has to,
yeah, I've not gotten my head around that part at all. So,
Well, and remember, this also is a sample report. I mean, this report can be anything that we want it to be.
Right.
That this is just
Yeah.
what the in this case, this is the Rails attorney, Ansel Link,
Right.
kind of recommended. So if we felt that we wanted to leave something out or add something, we certainly could.
Okay. Well, I think part of that is to get as much of it filled out as possible and then discuss, what we want to leave out and why.
Yeah.
Don't you
I
think?
mean, I don't think there's any reason to leave anything out in this.
Right, no, I don't
But-
either, but. Okay, so, what did we say, July what, 16th?
18th.
That sound good?
Well, one thing I'll point out, we will probably not have a committee of the whole that month.
Oh, that's right,
Oh,
because
that's
it's
a
the
good
fourth.
point.
Tuesday is the 4th.
That's a good point.
So that might be a longer meeting than most.
So perhaps
I'm comfortable moving it to August.
put it to August.
Yeah, you want to move it to
Committee
August
of the
then?
whole?
Yeah, can we do it at committee of the whole in August?
That would be
Because I think
the
it's
first.
sticking to that 4-month
Oh, the
timeframe
first.
would be difficult if we push it all the way back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
August
Yeah.
1st?
First. Yeah.
August 1st?
That's pretty
Okay.
works.
I don't think so.
What's that?
We don't need to vote on that, do we? No, I don't think so. Okay,
August 1st.
yeah.
And are we gonna do
And
that?
then I assume that we'll get the document
Prior. Like
with the packet, or maybe they would like it earlier, a little bit earlier? Do you think they could have it a week ahead?
Sure.
Would be helpful.
One week prior. So what is
Yeah.
what is the Tuesday before, then that would be
That
July?
would be July 25th.
25th, okay. Okay, so we'll go for a week before.
Yeah, wait a second.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Okay.
Maybe I'll ask a question. As I went through the background material, it felt like there were two chunks, and I think I'm asking, did you guys see the same two chunks? Am I on the same page? Part of it talked about the efficiency, and so I'm thinking, what services do we render, and if there are any metrics, how do we stack up? I mean, cost per resident, cost to check out a book, something, metrics about different units. The other section, which I try to get my hands around, is, all right, all these laws and intergovernment agencies are supposed to, I think, spur us to think, in some universe, could we or should we align with other organizations?
Or how are we currently aligning with other
Other
organizations?
Yeah.
Which we do a lot, actually.
Yes, and that I am aware of, but don't know the specifics of. I do a lot of thought experiments, and I really don't mean for anybody to react other than this is a thought experiment.
Yeah.
If a neighboring neighboring library district said, gee, we're just not getting it done, would you guys want to merge? That causes me to think a lot,
Yeah.
is there any efficiencies in that? I don't know if this is what that's trying to ask or not, so I don't even know if we want to have that conversation. And again, I'm describing it only as a thought experiment to sharpen our
Your
conversation
thought
about what we
experiment's
do well
not
in
too
life.
far off, because when you look at where this law came from, there have over the years been a lot of pushes in Illinois. Because you look at how fragmented we are. Not only other libraries, but other potential government entities that we overlap with. In most places you go, there won't be a separate independently funded library district, and a separate independently funded school district, and a separate independently funded fire protection district. There'll be a municipality that just has all those services. Illinois doesn't. The reason we don't is a historical anachronism. Back in the 60s, there were hard limits on how much debt any one government entity could take on.
Okay.
This was a constitution ago in Illinois. But because of that, you wound up having governments literally calve off parts of themselves so that those independent government entities could now take on new debt.
Okay.
Just, stupid laws lead to stupid consequences. This is where we are. So there's been a lot of questions of, can we unwind this at all? Should we unwind this at all? Or does our current model work, or is it inefficient? Now, why do we have so many different school districts? Why not have a consolidated county school district like you see in Wisconsin up north? Well, libraries really aren't going to save you a lot of money this way. But we got roped into this as part of the larger conversation.
But I agree, this type of thing should be on agendas.
Good thinking.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I find it an interesting question, but as you go down that path, it causes to force us to describe the programs we have and why they're right for our community.
Exactly.
We don't assume that they're right for everybody else.
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
So we'll
Okay,
meet
so
during,
the
I'm
next
sorry,
meeting is
is it
August first, committee of the whole, at the beginning, just like this. And
Beginning?
we're gonna get
Okay.
the
I was
documents
just
a
gonna
week
ask.
ahead.
And then before we move on from this, it's a requirement to survey residents in attendance asking for their input. So if anyone in attendance would like to give input, they're welcome.
There she is.
I didn't see that.
You're not obligated, but.
And she serves on the District 56 board. And is a resident.
All right. Anything else?
All
right.
Okay.
I'll let you have your tables.
Yeah.
fixed.
All right, thank you very much.
Welcome to the
Thank you
table.
both.
Welcome.
We look forward to seeing
Thank
you next time.
Yeah, thanks.
We're gonna have the regular 7 AM, I mean 7 PM. 7 PM
was
start
there,
date.
Brad.
Man, we can do it.
That's not.
You tell them after they sign up.
Right.
Oh, boy.
That might violate
Hey, would
public action
anyone
laws.
like to speak in public comment? Okay, is there a correspondence, Gina? You know if there's any?
I thought there was a memo about, there's a,
Something there?
what was it?
Is there correspondence?
Maybe this is the last.
No,
Okay.
we don't have any, just the abstract vote.
All
Okay,
right.
okay.
And then it's got the abstract mentioned there too, page 19.
We'll sign these while we're still treasurer.
Anybody want to have any comments on
And
that?
here you go. One more.
Okay, anyone want to take anything off the consent? All right, who'd like to,
Did you
Hold
say
on.
something? Yes?
No, never mind. I was just thinking Celeste wasn't at it, but it was committee of the whole, which is different. Never mind.
Okay.
oh, well, there are a couple things off of here to vote on for that reason later, I think, if that's what you're thinking.
That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
okay. So who'd like to make the motion?
I'll make the motion that we accept the consent agenda as approved, or
I'll
as
second that.
presented.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Okay, swearing in.
Okay. Let's see here, okay. Is there an order that you'd like? No, it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's fine.
Do we have to, wait,
Do we have to do something
adjourn?
first?
Do we have
No,
to-
No,
that
not yet.
comes next.
Okay,
First have to swear in.
so the old secretary gets to do this.
Swearing.
Okay.
Outgoing secretary.
Right. Yeah,
Not
I'm
the
gonna do
old
this
I'm
now,
gonna
so you can
get
look
out.
and then you can sign this after we do this. Okay.
Okay.
Okay?
Can we wait?
Okay, sure,
Sorry,
sure.
Tom is supposed to come, but
All
I told
right.
him 7:30.
Yeah.
So-
We'll do Wendy.
Sure.
All right, and I'll give Wendy this just to look at. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you wanna come up here?
Oh,
I
that's
have to
right.
do the whole thing. My voice. We can, if you like. I, Wendy, and so just repeat it.
Okay.
I, Wendy Hamilton, have been elected to the office of trustee for the Warren Newport Public Library District.
I, Wendy Hamilton, have been elected to the office of trustee for the Warren Newport Public Library District
In the state of Illinois, in the county of Lake,
in the state of Illinois and the county of Lake,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of library trustee according to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of library trustee according to the best of my ability. Thank you.
You have to sign this now.
Oh, I have to sign.
I'm trying to decide which one we should sign, but.
Here, I'll get it.
This one or the other one? This one. Here we go. Sign those two if you would mind.
Sure.
All right, George. Ready? I'll give you this little cheat sheet. Ready? I, George Katsinas, have been elected to the office of trustee
I, George Katsinas, having been elected to the office of trustee for the Warren Newport Public Library District
in the state of Illinois and the county of Lake,
in the state of Illinois and the county of Lake aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of library trustee according to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of trustee according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. All right, and do you want to wait?
We can go, we can.
We have Catherine too?
Want me to video?
No, you're with us, yeah.
Well, so can we wait or no? Celeste,
We have one other person.
I
We're
know.
waiting for Tom, but it's
So we're
okay.
waiting for a friend.
Don't we have one other person?
Herself.
You want me to?
She could do me and then you can do Celeste.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right.
Oh.
George, did you sign?
I have not.
Bonnie, which, do I sign all of them?
Just the first, the
There's
top two, because those are the ones that have the
Oh, okay.
appropriate.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on, I need a cheat sheet. Okay, Jill.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
I state your name.
Bonnie Sutton. I, Bonnie Sutton.
Having been elected to the office of trustee for the Warren Newport Public Library District
Having been elected to the office of trustee for the Warren Newport Public Library District
in the state of Illinois and the county of Lake aforesaid,
in the state of Illinois and the county of Lake aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of library trustee
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of library trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. Thank you, Joe.
You're
Are we all
My
set?
pleasure.
But now,
Is he here?
are you
Yeah,
gonna?
he's here, yay.
So do I do Celeste or do
Yes.
you? I still can?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
okay.
still the-
Okay.
The current
Okay.
board, it would
Right,
just
right,
be
right.
weird for you to
We'll
do
just keep
yourself.
going. Here we go. Here we keep going.
Hard to shake hands with your
So much craziness. Okay, ready? I
I, Celeste Flores,
have been elected to the office of trustee for the Warren Newport Public Library District
have been elected to the office of trustee for the Warren Newport Public Library District
in the state of Illinois and the county of Lake,
in the state of Illinois and the county of Lake.
aforesaid, do solemnly affirm
I do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of library trustee according to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of trustees according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. All right,
We did it.
yay.
Okay.
It worked.
I have something to say.
Pardon?
Before you close as President George, Joe, I have something to say. I think you have been a fabulous president, better than, tough shoes to follow for George, but you have led us well. Efficient meetings, our record stands at 23 minutes to beat.
George, it's on you now.
I've had the privilege to see several presidents, and it has been my privilege and my honor to serve on your board.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
As we all.
I've really enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with all of you, and Ryan as well. There are many things about it I will miss.
You'll still be around.
I know, that's why I'm looking forward to that. All right, give me just a second.
Okay.
I move that the meeting be adjourned sine die.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. All right, so, let's see what, I have to do the next thing.
Yes.
I move to nominate trustee Farkapezi as president pro tempore.
Accept the nomination.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. All right,
And
Now,
then
you.
you.
I move to appoint Wendy Hamilton as secretary pro tem.
I'll second that. Discussion?
Accept?
Yes. Sorry.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain.
Oh my gosh.
All right, now what's next?
You call to order.
The president calls
Yeah.
order.
So,
I call to order, what am I calling to order?
You're calling the meeting to order.
Yeah, but I call, is there a name for this meeting?
No.
No.
I call the meeting of the new board to order
At 7:26.
at
Is that correct?
7:26.
okay.
Arnold,
Here.
Beckwith,
Here.
Farkapisi,
Here,
Flores,
Here.
Hamilton,
Here.
Kotsinis,
Here.
Sutton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
I will at this time accept nominations for a slate of candidates for the new board officers. Is that
I would
what's
like
next?
to nominate the following slate of officers: trustee Katsinas for president, trustee Flores for vice president, trustee Beckwith for secretary, and trustee Farkapezi for treasurer.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Oh, sorry, I'm not doing it. Go ahead, Andrea.
Already usurping my,
I know. Old habits die
Stepping on
hard.
your toes already.
discussion? Then, Gina, would you please call the vote?
Sure. Farkapisi,
Aye.
Sutton,
Aye.
Arnold,
Aye.
Flores,
Aye.
Hamilton,
Aye.
Beckwith,
Aye.
Kotsinis.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
I think that's the end, right?
I don't know, you're running. it.
Recess for informal.
have to
Does
look.
anybody move to
No.
adjourn?
No, no,
Recess.
you-
No,
Oh,
we're
for
gonna do
recess.
Recess, oh,
Recess.
recess. So this is the same one George just takes over.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
I move to recess.
I'll second.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain.
Okay.
7:28.
Thank you.
Did we do
All
it?
right.
I think we got through it.
End of an era.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, now picture time.
Oh, come on.
Friends and family.
Woo-hoo.
Everyone ready?
Yep.
We
Okay.
are ready.
Let's call back to order at 7:35. Okay, first action is appointment of chairpersons.
Okay.
And I will name the chair people and then you each have to accept.
Mhm.
Andrea Farkapezi, finance chair.
Seeing treasurer is has to do it, then yes.
Bonnie Sutton, do you want buildings and grounds?
I accept. Sorry, my voice is not my own tonight.
And Catherine Arnold, policy.
Accept.
Okay. And then general and personnel falls under me regardless, so we're good.
That's a lot to do in 35 minutes.
Okay. President's report is on page 35 from Joe. Any questions or comments?
I have a comment. I was gonna bring your president's binder, but there's a couple things that aren't finished changing. So
Okay.
as soon as I get it done, I'll bring it next time.
I'll just make.
Yeah.
Is there a vice president one?
No.
No, okay.
Okay. Reports of other trustees. Does anyone have something to talk about libraries today?
I do believe Illinois passed a law
Yes.
that said that libraries have to adhere to, I think, the Illinois Library Bill of Rights or something like that, but we're already in compliance, which I'm proud to say.
Yes. I know, I spread that
Otherwise, you
around.
don't get the
Money.
state funding.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right. Any other reports? Executive Director's Report, page 36.
Yeah, the one thing I wanted to, well, Andrew, you mentioned that House Bill 2789 was that law that was passed, so we are in compliance, so that's pretty encouraging to see that while some other states are moving in the opposite direction, we're protecting people's freedom to read in Illinois, so that was exciting. One thing I wanted to point out, the patron suspensions, the street teenagers, 1 year for fighting, if you have any questions about that, that is indeed the incident that I shared with the board about the fight that went behind the circulation desk. So one of the things we'll talk about when we talk about the budget is I would like to propose a security consultant to come in and do an assessment of our facility and give us some feedback, so I'll talk about that more later. But that's what that is. Then a couple of commercial FOIA requests, kind of not surprising. And the other thing I think that's encouraging to point out in this report, if you look on page 42, mobile services circulation, you can already see that with the model change, that our circulation has gone up, even though we aren't serving well, at least right now, while we reconfigure the community steps for the bookmobile, with those earlier listing visits, we are seeing a lot of circulation in mobile services, so I'm encouraged with that. So, any questions about anything in the report?
Just one comment.
Mhm.
The 50th birthday party on Saturday, April 15th, 824 people attended.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the door count was double that too. That was just what we counted in
Really?
terms of people that were there, but yeah, the door count, I think we were 600 or 700 people, so, yeah, it was a great event. It was really great.
Great music, too.
Any other questions about the Executive Director's Report?
Well, just that, I mean, this is something for the future, and I don't know if maybe we would wanna add that kind of section. I know Maria Nava, because I'm on, I forget the committee task force, is that the name of
Community
it?
engagement task force?
Yeah, she's planning a back to school in July, late July. My memory's blanking, 27th, 29th,
Mhm.
but I think that's
Back to
something.
school, what?
Back to school.
Like for Brushwood is gonna, we're bringing backpacks, for people to come pick up, and she's gonna have other organizations there. So I think that, I know that she was looking if there was any other organizations, I know that Pace will be there, and she has the full list of who she's inviting and waiting to hear back from, but, I know a lot of us also are connected, or if we know any organizations that have school supplies for people to come and get them here instead of, not having them or missing them from, the list that, I don't know that list anymore, I'm sure you guys are more familiar with
Schools
that
put out,
list.
yeah.
Yeah.
That schools put out, but I know that's coming up, I mean, July will be
Yeah,
here before
yeah,
we know it.
and we did it last year, and I think we ran out of school supplies, I think with it, it might have been less than an hour. I mean,
Really?
we flew through them, it was very popular, we had a lot of people attend, so, yeah. So if you know any partnerships, that would be great.
Of course, the most important school supply is a library card.
All right. Moving on to old business, page 50, budget update.
So what I'm hoping to accomplish tonight, because we could spend, a couple hours talking about the budget, but what I'm hoping to accomplish tonight with the board is, well, number one, just explain some of the changes to the budget that you see on page 50 in terms of areas where we've gone up and down, and areas where we can improve in some of these areas, these changes. I think some of these budget numbers we can adjust. And then looking at the potential capital projects that start on page 51, and what I'm looking for from the board is what capital projects are you comfortable with leaving that will leave them in the budget? Are there some where you feel, okay, maybe we need to delay this, or do we want more information before we finalize on the budget? Because we're getting down to the wire a little bit with the budget, so still putting some information together. The memo on page 48 talks about some of the differences. I wanted to add a little bit of detail to some of those areas. I'm thankful for Doug for putting this together. I do feel there are a few inaccuracies though, which I want to address. So I think the first one to point out would be the general supplies. So you see that, and it's $125,000. So, and mainly due to, as Doug says, increase in hardware and software agreements and maintenance. The biggest driver of this is the change to CCS, and this is going to be some of this is going to be, we're going to get reimbursed to the LSAP grant, which we've applied for rails, that will offset some of that increase, and then. As we get through this year, because if you think about this year, we're going to have this overlap. We'll still have our current library system, our Sierra system, before we move over to the Polaris system. So in future years, we're going to save money on our library system with the movement to CCS, but at least initially, it's going to be a little bit of an increase because of the migration costs, that type of thing. Other things that are here. That increase the cost. There are some. One of the things that's in here right now is there are a couple different tools we're looking at that would basically take what we're doing with our constant contact and make it a little more sophisticated in terms of doing segmented marketing towards different populations. So that's something we're looking at doing, which I can share more at the next board meeting. So that accounts for a lot of those costs in there. But I just wanted to let the board know the big driver is the CCS cost. And that's not very clear by the board packet. Let's see.
One question I have, Ryan.
Yeah.
I noticed that utilities are down by over 25,000 due to the LED lighting project. What was the initial cost for that project that we paid out to start with?
For the initial cost, I have to go back and look.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, because this obviously is gonna pay for itself, I wanna know how many years it's gonna take to do so.
Yeah. Let me find out. What was our LED cost?
So our total expenditures are at this undescribed 9,567,000. Is that what that is, total cost? And is the next line 6,375,000 our revenues?
On the bottom of page 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it that high? Let me see. Hold on, give me 1 second. Yes, that is the expenditure. So income is just a shade under 7.4 million, and then that would be the expenditures as they stand. And the big driver, of course, is just the capital cost for that. The big increase, but mainly the building project. But then you have things like the bookmobile, which is $300,000 in there.
So that means we're short 2,183,000, and that's coming from our reserve. So what will our reserve fund be after we subtract 2,183,000 from it?
Let's see. It's not all. So basically, just under $1 million.
After?
After, yeah. Assuming
So,
we spent all. Assuming we did all those capital expenditures, yes.
With the air AC work on the roof, which was going to be what, 1.3 million?
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Is this including the 1.3 million?
This
The
includes.
9 million includes the 1.3 million.
Yeah, that includes assuming the board does approve the base bid, and I'll just 1 through 3 later, it includes that project, that's in here, that's reflected, yes.
Okay, so then after this year, a special reserve will be down to $1 million.
That's correct, yeah. And I mean, but the.
So that means our incoming president can, complain about
No, but
the budget he was
but that's assuming, of course, that the board goes with the, capital projects started as listed on page 51. I don't know that there's too much room from my perspective, the board may strongly disagree in terms of, pushing any of these projects. There are a lot of IT projects, but I think one of the things that we've been doing the last couple of years is getting us really kind of up to where we needed to be with IT. So we're playing catch up. So I don't think there's anything that's super progressive in the IT part of the budget.
Well, and they're all kind of small
Yeah.
after the first two.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
A lot of them have been pushed before.
yeah.
I mean, the bookmobile, I hate to say it, but that's $300,000, so that's something you could push down the road a little bit, but that's has its downside as well.
I think even if I don't really think we need to push that ourselves. I think it's gonna push itself, just based on lead times though.
Well, yeah.
Good point.
So, so I don't see anything that's, sure, some of these things we could probably push down the road a little bit or cut out, but I don't, there's, when you're trying to cut down the deficit, that's a lot of, this is very realistic, it's a lot of money to cut, so. I do think with the operating budget, there are some areas that we can make some cuts. So for example, professional fees, that's $29,000 over. One of the reasons that's over is because we put in a kind of a wish list. You know how we're doing the compensation study, which we can do on our own. I told Jen, I'm like, well, we can put in the professional fees for that to outsource and see what the budget looks like. But after looking at the budget now, I'm thinking, well, let's just cut that $20,000. So there's $20,000 we can cut. So there are some other pockets we can cut, but once again, it's not like it's gonna, close that gap tremendously. So.
Hold on. When do the bonds get paid off?
Why 29/30?
Yeah.
It'll be before we know it, believe it or not. But yeah, I think that's what the next 5 years is going to be all about, is just holding on. I mean, fortunately, we have the money in the special reserve. That's the good news, and we're still left with $1 million. So there are places that are in
Nothing but a brick.
yeah, nothing major.
Well, and the HVAC project we thought was gonna be like half of what it is.
Yes.
Exactly.
But then to not do it all the way is gonna cost us more.
No, I'm just thinking like how far can you stretch the 1 million in the special reserve? It's not gonna go as far as we think
Right.
with the
that was-
current
everything is
supply
more
chain
than-
and, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I showed that I think at the last meeting, but the 10-year, capital plan, it doesn't look as good as it used to, but we still, whatever.
But we're still doing what is responsible as far as
We have to.
paying. I mean, we have to heat the building. And we have to do it in a fiscally responsible way, even though that's more upfront. I mean, we're stuck in a hard place and no money, so.
Does this have the cash flow? Sorry, I thought last time we talked about the cash flow.
We do not have it yet. He's working on it though.
Cause it's not all gonna hit in the first, or in this fiscally upcoming year, is it?
It's gonna be as work is done, yeah. So yes, if it does, what did we say? It's gonna get pushed to next season. So you're actually right. There probably will be some of that will actually go into FY 24-25. Although we put it all in this budget, but once we get that flow, we can adjust it. from old.
And you're basically signing up to pay the whole thing, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're taking it on.
Yeah, so if you look at, I mean, we're still, believe it or not, according to the 10-year capital plan, when you get to FY 28-29, we still have 69% of yearly expenditure available. So that's not bad. So I just think that's also testament to, the process that we have in place and looking at this year to year that we've, we'll have a plan, we know where we're going.
Is there anything that anybody, feels that we should take out of the budget?
So I just didn't know for the study room, like we have money that's reserved for that, and I didn't know if that's like the additional $1,000 if we could approach our friends. I mean, I know that they've donated for other very specific things, but that was a question that I had. I don't know, like, usually it's more of just a surprise that they're giving us an X amount of money, but I don't know if we've ever approached them about like a particular thing that we're.
We have, like the 1,000 books before 5, they paid for that. There have been specific asks from library personnel and the board in the past, so yeah, there's precedent for it. And I don't remember them ever saying no to anything.
One other thing I wanted to mention that may change the projection in the budget in terms of income, although I don't want to be too over the top with it, is that we are changing our approach for our fall fundraiser. The board might remember that we were going to do a chairful where you sit event where we were going to take chairs and have people decorate them and then auction them off. We got to talking about it, and we realized just by planning this event, we've not gotten a lot of positive buzz from the community. So I said to Laura Stone, I'm like, we should consider pivoting, because I'm worried that this is not going to go very well and that we're going to have a flop on our hands. So we did some research, and one of the fundraisers that seems to be popular for libraries is some kind of, for lack of a term, library libations event, where you basically, charge money at the door, and people, with their ticket, they could get free samples of like craft beers and wines in the area. And you have music, you might have a room where there's trivia, and it's kind of like a night at the library. And what's nice about it is that it's scalable, unlike something we did in the past, like Bingo in the Books. Like Bingo in the Books was great, but the problem with Bingo in the Books is you can only sell so many tables, and that's it. Whereas if we did this event, like I think Lake Villa has done something like this.
Waukegan did it.
Yeah, Waukegan. So you could, have it from, I don't know, let's just say 7 to 10 or something like that, and people come in as they go. So someone might drop by for a half hour, someone may come for 3 hours. So that is the initial plan right now. We're starting to pivot, trying to plan that for
We
the
could
fall.
combine that with something I've always thought would be fun, is a spelling bee. I think people would compete. I'd be out in the first round.
Yeah.
But you know how people do like
Or
run and
trivia
they get
nights.
sponsors for each word they get right.
Mhm.
So we have a couple of rounds with easy words so everybody can get, but like my sister, she never got to compete because our school didn't participate in the nationals, but she is an amazing speller. She could raise some funds. But I think if this was something we did annually and people, got into the money, it could be a flagship event. It could bring attention to our library and raise funds all at the same time.
I think it's important to bring the community back in. A couple of my friends have asked, are we ever gonna do Bingo in the Books again? And I think that was a really positive
Yeah.
community event. And I understand what you're saying, not as many, we can't benefit as much from how many tables we can sell, but I really think we need to, particularly in this day and age, we need to bring people in a positive way. So however it is, library and libations, I think that's a cute idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I think if we ever do bingo again, it should be more of a not intended for it to be a fundraiser, because I think
Just for
it's a
fun.
really great event.
Yeah.
But the people that tend to go to bingo, not that they weren't generous and bought raffle tickets and stuff, but they were more there for the event and
For
less
fun.
there for like
Sure,
this is
for
a
fun.
fundraiser.
Yeah.
So it's a different audience.
Right, right.
Whereas I'm hoping with this event, we can attract more, more people that are, well, they're to have fun, but also maybe will be, more free with their
Combine it with the
wallets.
spelling.
Yeah.
You could have something.
I'll throw an idea out there. What about night at the library? Do a library camp out for younger kids? You might be able to convince a few families to come join for that.
For a fundraiser or for
Yeah,
just
for
for
a
a fun
fundraiser.
event? Yeah.
They do it at the museums downtown.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Field Museum does that every quarter, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea
I like
as
that
a
movie.
program.
I
I just
like
don't know
it as a
about
program,
I don't
too.
know about the fun. I just don't know how much money that would raise, right? But no, it's a good, interesting idea.
Well, maybe you could provide babysitting, then I would pay a lot.
If we did babysitting every weekend,
Overnight
it'd
drop-off.
be a lot of money. So,
Oh, boy.
but I didn't mean to go on a tangent. Just wanted to let the board know that we may, tweak. But once again, it's obviously not going to close the budget. I'm not going to say, oh, we're going to have a $2 million fundraiser.
Yeah.
No, it's not what I'm saying. But
Well, that's a lot
we
of
might be able to
thinking.
increase the revenue a little bit.
But on that point, I think like if you tied it to, hey, we're trying to get like a new material sorter, that could drive some of the fundraising, right? Like it's going to a specific thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it has to go specific to.
To a specific thing, yeah.
That we're buying anyway, so.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I'll
true.
ask about the material sorter. How much staff time does the material sorter actually save?
Oh, I can imagine.
How much time does it save? In other words, if like you're talking about, if we
What if we didn't have an automated material sorter? How much would it cost us in staff time?
I'd have
Oh.
to figure it out. And I could tell you it wouldn't be very popular with staff. And
Going
we
backwards.
have, one of the things we've done with our
Okay.
staffing too, is we have our shelving team has dwindled in numbers, so we don't have as many shelvers as we used to, because obviously with COVID and we weren't filling positions when they were vacant, because we just don't have the, although our numbers are getting better, our volume isn't what it was pre-COVID in terms of materials. So that's the other thing too, we probably have to hire some people to make that route.
Ergonomics, I feel like too, is an important piece of that, right? Repetitive motions.
Oh,
Yeah. One thing about new sorter, as it says in here, is, and obviously it would take a while to pay off, but talking to the vendors, so we would go out to bid, and I think part of the bid process, well, I know part of the bid process we would do is look at what maintenance costs are annually, because our current company, they charge a small fortune, and I think we could cut it in half. I mean, we pay like $28,000 a year right now, which is just kind of absurd, honestly. So that would help. I mean, I'm not saying automatically, but over time would help pay for any sorter. And the new sorters are pretty cool because, speaking of ergonomics, they actually can adjust the bins based on so if you've got someone that's 6'2" in there versus someone that's 5'2", they're gonna want to adjust it differently. So, but yeah, that is a big expenditure. The problem with cutting the sorter out is that the one we have, it's a tank, but it just, every time it breaks down, we worry, like, can we get the part for it? It's just one of those things. We're just on borrowed time with that thing, so.
Okay, without further comments, let's move on.
Okay, so nothing that we're like, okay, we gotta wipe it out, we're comfortable with everything. I did add a security consultant. I do feel that that's a pressing need, and I've been talking to different people, and
That's a no-brainer.
yeah, so.
Alright, anything else on the budget update for now? Alright, let's move on to new business. Secretary report approval of minutes from the regular board meeting, April 18th. I believe this is on here because we had some individuals who were not present. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Correct.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve? Anyone?
I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting, April 18th, 2023, as presented.
I'll second that.
Let's do a roll call for this one.
Farcapisi,
Aye.
Arnold,
Aye.
Flores.
I
Abstain.
thought you had to abstain.
You have to abstain.
No, she was here.
No, I
It
joined
says-
virtually.
It
Yeah,
says
she-
absent.
No.
Oh, she had joined at the beginning of the
joined
virtual,
virtual.
so yeah. I think,
Yeah,
okay.
she joined, we had
At
to,
7
Because this
Four.
is like the approval of all the minutes, right, not us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
trustee Flores.
Oh,
joined.
okay.
Hamilton,
Aye.
Sutton,
I abstain.
Beckwith,
Aye.
Cotsini,
Aye.
ayes have it.
All right. Same thing for the special meeting, April 29th, page 61. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes of the special meeting, April 29th, 2023, as presented.
I'll second.
I forgot we had that meeting.
Roll call?
Farcapisi,
Aye.
Arnold,
Aye.
Flores,
Aye.
Hamilton,
Aye.
Sutton,
Abstain.
Beckwith,
Aye.
Cotsinis,
I'll abstain as well.
ayes have it.
Okay. Signature cards for officers, information. We've got one new officer.
Mhm.
You will need to fill out a signature card for all of the lovely signing that we do for all of our checks.
Yeah, we'll actually need to go to the bank, so.
Go to the bank,
You
yeah.
find a time that you're available during banking hours and we'll go to the bank and get you signed up.
7 a.m.
If they're open,
They're
that's
not
when we
open
do
at
it.
This is Gurney Community Bank, right?
No, it's Fifth Third.
Fifth Third, okay.
Yeah.
Third, yeah.
Okay. Approval of the trustee board roster. So you all have the roster in the packet, page 63. Do we have a motion?
I move that the board ratify the current board roster for filing.
I'll second that.
I have to update my daytime telephone number.
Okay.
Can we do that now and then we'll?
It's not
Oh,
on.
no,
That's on the other thing that
That's on-
Gina sent out, right?
That's a different thing,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not what we're
Okay,
voting
then I don't
on.
have a problem with it, yeah.
Yeah, this one is an outbound.
Okay.
We're on
Page
page
63.
63.
Yeah, and then I'm good with it, because that was the only piece of information that was
So.
different.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Can we have a roll
You
call?
want a roll call for
Yes,
this? Okay,
please.
let's do a roll call for this one.
Beckwith,
Aye.
Hamilton,
Aye.
Sutton,
Aye.
Arnold,
Aye.
Farcapisi,
Aye.
Flores,
Aye.
Cotsinis,
Aye.
ayes have it. Thank you.
Okay. Page 64. The HVAC bid.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So there was a document at your places when you arrived.
Yeah, and I somehow misplaced mine, I don't know. Oh, wait, never mind, got it.
So I'm gonna ask Ryan, how does this work? We're approving the contract with Wold and then Wold will subcontract the high bidder or the low bidder? Or how does that work?
Well, so we're working with Wold in terms of the, we contract them to help with, do the, engineering, get the projects out for bid. So, no, but the board is awarding the bid to, Amber Mechanical.
Okay.
But Wold, yes, will be overseeing the project. And this is without the boiler plant, because as it said in the memo, that we did get it
Right.
retubed for just under $40,000, and that's a quote. I mean, we'll go out to bid for that project, obviously. So, I think that it's, it just makes sense. Obviously, it would be nice to have an energy efficient system with redundancy, but it's, $280,000 you can save. It's hard to justify when we have an alternative.
Right.
I mean, if we had an alternative with the rooftop units that would save us much money, I'm sure we'd pursue it, but, it's not like we can rebuild those things, so.
All right, who would like to make the motion?
Nobody.
Who is willing to make the motion?
We don't have all the information, right? I thought we were waiting on the cash flow.
We do not have he's preparing it right now, but I don't have the schedule of payments, no.
Isn't that important before we award the bid?
It will be important for us to determine like the like how we're gonna, manage our finances with cash flow, absolutely. But I think in terms of awarding the bid, I don't think it's a concern.
The bid is what it is, it's just how.
It's not gonna change the total
No,
contract
that's
amount?
right.
No, it shouldn't,
it's just
but-
No,
How we pay it out.
Right.
yeah.
But what, we asked them that information a few weeks ago and they haven't provided it. So then will that be a theme in this project?
I don't think so.
Okay, I wanna go on record with it.
It's a good question.
That's a good question. All right, I will move that we accept the bid from Amber Mechanical to complete the boiler project work.
I will
second.
Go ahead, you can have that one.
Go for it.
Who got it?
Celeste.
Celeste?
Celeste.
I will- let me specify that exactly. I move that we award the base bid and alternates 1, 2, and 3 for the HVAC improvements to Amber Mechanical as presented.
I'll second.
Whew.
Yep.
Roll call for this one.
Arnold?
Aye.
Sutton?
Aye.
Falcapisi?
Aye.
Hamilton?
Aye.
Beckwith?
Aye.
Flores?
Aye.
Cotsini?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay.
That'll do it.
New business F.
We're gonna talk about that, yeah. So, Joe asked me to follow up on, I think he had something in your notes about sexual harassment training. Is
Well,
that
it's
right?
on the extranet. That's
Okay.
why it came up, because I was trying to update the extranet.
So I asked our attorney about this, and basically what he said was that the board members are not legally required to do the training, but I asked him if there's a best practice. So I'm quoting the attorney. While not required, it would be a best practice for trustees to complete the training at least once during their term and within 6 months of taking office. So I wanted to bring this to the board's attention to see if the board wanted to make this a part of the routine where when new board members are elected, even if they've taken the training before, if it should be done within 6 months of taking office. It's not legally required.
Is there a cost?
We have the training. It's no, it wouldn't be a cost.
How long does it take?
An hour.
At the most, I think. It wasn't quite that long even when, was it when we looked
When's
at
the
it?
last time we did it?
I
Have we
don't
done
think
it?
I've ever
I don't
done
think
it.
we ever
I was
did
just gonna
it.
say, have we ever done it?
We've had active shooter training, but not, I think we should do it.
Should do it, yeah.
Seems easy enough. Do we need a motion for that, or do we just do
I
it?
don't think so.
No, I think we should just make it our I mean, has anybody at the table done it? I don't think I
I've
have.
had
Not here.
anti-sexual harassment training, of course. It's
But
required
not-
annually for your work.
But not
But
for,
not for the
Not
board.
Not
right.
Not through the
Yeah.
library.
Not through the library, but the
Would-
state requires it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, we could do if someone has it through their employer in lieu of doing the library's training, but I guess we don't know I'm sure your employer offers great training, but
No, I mean, I always like to adhere to the essence of the law and not just do the minimum. I think we wanna provide a good example.
Right, I agree with you.
Okay. All right, so we'll make sure that training on the extranet is, I think I never followed up with you on that, is up to
Okay,
speed?
yeah.
So,
Okay. That brings us to other potentially actionable items and agenda for the next meeting. We've got a number on there already. Anything that's not on here that anyone wants to add?
I would like to suggest that, one of our goals was to evaluate Ryan's survey, evaluation survey, and I think it would be nice to have I'll run it but we need like a subcommittee that can meet separately to look at it and then bring what we think to the board. So we need other people to
Could you
volunteer
say
to
that
say.
again? I'm sorry.
When we evaluated Ryan last time.
Yes.
A few people said they thought the survey was too long and had too
Yes,
many
yes.
questions. And so we made that a board goal, did we not, to look at that, right?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so I think a subcommittee would be a good idea, just unless someone has some other suggestion for doing it.
No,
I'm all for that, but Wendy, you and I are going to meet kind of regularly. I was thinking on the Tuesdays that we don't meet here.
Sure.
You know, at 2 Tuesdays, just to
Oh.
go over things.
I'll volunteer to
So,
help you out.
Okay.
I would like Wendy to, you can go ahead, but then you're gonna still
No,
have this
that,
other
yeah,
committee.
no, I can help with it too.
Okay, so Bonnie said
I
she
just
would
said I
too.
would,
Anyone
too.
else want to?
Well, that's 3 already.
Yeah, the three of us will
Yeah.
get going on it then,
We
okay?
listen
So
to this,
forming
we
a
can't
subcommittee.
meet over here.
Yeah, don't you think we would meet
Yes, we
here?
could post it as a,
Sure.
Because,
Yeah.
yeah, because of the open
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah,
got
open meeting have
The majority of the quorum
Okay.
has to be posted.
So let's pick a time after the meeting. We don't need to do it now.
Okay.
So does it, I'm going to question, and I'm not passing judgment, but seeing that it's just the director in general evaluation, does this going to be in a closed door meeting or an open door meeting? Because it's not specifically Ryan, it's whoever's in
It's
this
not
position.
specific for Ryan, this would have to be
Right.
an open meeting, because we're talking about practices for evaluating.
So,
An employee.
Yeah.
Mhm, right,
so open meeting.
Mhm.
okay.
So we're forming a subcommittee, Joe, you will chair,
Yep.
and we've got Bonnie and
Wendy.
Wendy as
Mhm.
members. Okay. Do we need any motion for that,
No,
or, okay,
I don't think so.
I don't think
Does
so.
anyone else?
Just checking.
Okay.
Are you gonna meet for that subcommittee in the committee of the whole or?
No, I think,
Regular
well,
meeting?
I don't know, we'll have to figure it out. We could
This-
meet prior to a meeting if you want to do that. That might be
Yeah.
simplest.
Easier.
Just
Sure.
come early.
Sure, sure.
It will be dissolved once the new evaluation form is completed.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That way, it'll be ready when it's evaluation season, and we
Time.
won't have to
Yeah,
scramble at the
good
last
point.
minute.
Yeah. Mhm.
Good idea.
So that meeting will be not committee of the whole or regular meeting, it will be a
No,
separate-
it'll be, we'll meet at like a half hour before or something like
I
that.
think we should post.
Yeah,
your meeting.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
Mhm. Once
Would
we
send-
figure it out, I'll let.
Some dates.
I'll let you know,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Public forum? Does anyone want to? Any announcements? Besides what's on here already? Who wants to move to adjourn?
I will move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Meeting's adjourned at
8:15.
8:15.
Not a record.